So we already knows that presently we are studying the chemical properties of carbon compounds. So the first property which we already studied is combustion. So if you have noticed the combustion, in last two classes we discussed about the combustion, or also combustion also call it as a what, everybody? Burning. So combustion or burning if have been taken, so what will happen, everybody? Presence of oxygen, that's what, sufficient supply of oxygen or insufficient supply of oxygen. So what will happen? We are going to get either carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide plus water. So of course, we are going to get heat and as well as light also. So this is what is the reaction which we already studied, and types of flames: blue flame, yellow flame, and this functional groups of hydrocarbons. That is what, ethanol burning, methanol burning, methane burning. And if it is burns, that's what, alkanes. If it burns, what will happen? Alkenes, it will burns, what will happen? Alkynes, it will burn, what will happen? So for this, all the things I have given you the example. Am I right, everybody? You have to say involve and you have to do it. So for everything, alkane, everything burning time. So what will happen and how it will be happening? Everything we have studied. Am I right, guys? And we studied that most of the fuels, of course. What is the best fuels? Alkanes, alkenes, alkynes. Which is the best fuel, guys? Best fuels.
Alkane.
Alkanes. Because the percentage of hydrogen is greater, more in alkanes. So these are the best fuels. So that of course, that all the things we studied, and why some substances burn with the flame or without flame, and how they will form, all the things we discussed. That's what we are having a two kinds of flames. That is only ways to call it as a blue flame and as well as yellow flame. So basically, saturated hydrocarbons, we can say alkanes. Yeah, saturated hydrocarbons burns with a blue flame, and alkenes and alkynes, they basically burns with a yellow flame. But there is a point. If the complete supply of oxygen, alkenes and alkynes also, they will burn with the what flame? Everybody? Alkenes and alkynes also, they will burn with the blue flame. That point is also very, very important. Do you remember or not, all of you? And the activities also we studied. Why do substances burn with or without flame? You have to learn. And formation of coal and petroleum. This is also, you just need to go through that. Are you clear, everybody? Please respond, Amma. So, yellow flame, what is the main thing? A soot particles will release and it will be coming with a black smoke. That is the most important one. And blue flame, it is actually luminous flame or non-luminous flame? Blue flame, everybody. Blue flame is a luminous or non-luminous, guys? All of you?
Non-luminous.
Non-luminous flame. So it will come with a blue flame. So yellow flame with a lot of unburnt carbon is there. That is why black smoke will come. So that's what a soot particles will be coming there. So, but you remember, unsaturated hydrocarbons also burnt in pure oxygen. If you supply the pure oxygen, unsaturated hydrocarbons means, who is that? Alkenes and alkynes also, they will burn completely without smoke and they will produce blue flame. So that is also very, very important. Are you clear, everybody? So this is all the things we discussed. So what is the difference between yellow flame? What is the difference between blue flame? Entire thing, word to word, is important for our board examination. So now even candle flames is a yellow flame. So you might be studied in 8th class. So zones of candle flame. So zones of candle flame, basically how many zones will be there actually? 3 zones will be there. You might be remember. Am I right, everybody? All of you? So candle flame is having a 3 zones. One is middle black zone. That is what? Incomplete combustion. So more carbon is left like that, soot particle. Next one is luminous zone. That is what? Yellow flame. So that here still very less amount of like what we can say is unburnt carbon is left. And outside one is the blue flame, where complete combustion will take place. Like that, the zones of 3 zones of candle flame you might be studied in 8th class. Am I right, everybody? So that is also you can remember. Try to keep it, that's all. So candle flame and all. So now let it be, it's not required. So now directly we are coming to the today's class. So today's class is going to be the extremely important one. So that is what, let us start with the substitution reaction. So all of you keep reading. One example in book, we will learn minimum 3-4 example, so that you all should not face any difficulties during the examination. So substitution reactions. So all of you remember that. So we all knows that. Now one more important thing I am going to say you. So compared to the unsaturated hydrocarbons, what is the unsaturated hydrocarbons? Anybody can tell? What is unsaturated hydrocarbons? Examples, guys. Who is the unsaturated hydrocarbons? All of you.
Alkenes and alkynes.
Alkenes, alkynes.
Alkenes and alkynes. Very, very important. Who is the saturated hydrocarbons? All of you?
Alkenes.
Hydrocarbons, which we used to call it as a alkanes. Many people don't know this point. Now I'll ask you, I will raise one question. Now, what is your expectation? Who is more stable in nature? Anybody can tell? Saturated or whatever he feels. Anybody?
Saturated, sir.
Saturated. What is the reason, Hari?
Sir, in book there is one sentence, sir. Unsaturated hydrocarbons are more reactive than saturated hydrocarbons.
Yes. So I think it is there in the addition reaction. Am I right, Hari?
No, sir. Before that, sir, I also asked you a doubt.
Yeah.
Why?
Yes. Now, the reason behind is, all of you note it. This is the most important one. So wherever, note always, wherever the carbon-carbon is having single bond, carbon-carbon is having single bond, is more stable. Do you understand, Hari, what I'm saying? Compared to the carbon-carbon double bond or carbon-carbon triple bond. Carbon-carbon double bond and carbon-carbon triple bond is more reactive than carbon-carbon single bond. That's the reason alkenes means saturated hydrocarbons are more stable compounds because of presence of carbon-carbon single, and also it is a covalent bond, ionic bond, everybody. Single covalent bond. Do you understand, everyone? That is the reason saturated hydrocarbons are more stable in nature. I hope you all clear, everybody. So the saturated hydrocarbons are more stable. What is the reason behind? Because everybody, they have, due to the presence of carbon-carbon, which bond? Carbon-carbon single covalent bond. Because of that is the reason they are more stable in nature. So who is more stable? Saturated or unsaturated? Saturated hydrocarbon. Okay. So now, what is the substitution reactions? Note it, Amma, this reason. I know many people not, nobody of you knows. So note that. Okay. So now, substitution reaction, write it. Substitution reaction is the substitution reaction is the reaction in which hydrogen atoms of hydrocarbons. Which hydrocarbons? Saturated or unsaturated? Saturated. Understanding? Are displaced by other atoms. That's all, right? So other atoms is called it as a substitution reaction. Just we are replacing one hydrogen with the another atoms. That is what we used to call it as a, what we used to call, everybody? Yes, please. We used to call it as a substitution reaction. So remember, majority of these reactions, basically, you can see hydrogen atoms are replaced by halogens. So just hydrogen is replaced by halogen. What is the halogen atoms? Everybody, 17th group elements. What is the 17th group elements? I already taught you in periodic table.
Chlorine.
Fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. Enough. This is what we used to call it as a substitution reaction. And you remember, these reactions are examples of most important things, photochemical reactions. Note it, everybody. So by this time, your bulb should glow. Somewhere we are getting photochemical reactions. Anybody? Photo. Starting first chapter, we have something. Decomposition reaction. Yes. Under photochemical reactions. Photo decomposition reaction. So why it is called it as a photo decomposition reaction? Anybody? Under the presence of what? Anybody?
Sunlight.
Presence of sunlight. Very good. That is the reason it is called it as a presence of sunlight. It is called it as a photochemical reaction. First example. Substitution reaction of methane with a chlorine. You write it. Substitution reaction of methane. Methane with a chlorine. The most important reaction, more than 15 times even used to ask in the board exam, but still many people don't know the common name. So you can notice it, extremely important equation. So let us see, when chlorine reacts with the methane in the presence of sunlight, you can see one by one, all the hydrogen atoms get displaced by the chlorine. All the hydrogen atoms. Do you understand? One by one. So first, one hydrogen will be displaced. So it will be continuous also. It will be keep on make it anything it will be. So you can notice all of you. We will get, write it everybody. CH-4 react with the chlorine. So CH-4 means what we used to call? Anybody can tell? Methane. React with the chlorine under the presence of sunlight. Very, very important. It will produce, yes, you draw the structures down. I will teach you people. You draw. What is the structures? Methane structure. Make it quick. CH-4 react with the chlorine, Cl2. So under the presence of sunlight, what do you people expect? Anybody? So one chlorine will be yeah, CCl. That is only we used to call it as a what? Of course, down I will draw. Anybody can tell? So what is that? One hydrogen alone you replace it. First time one hydrogen. If you continuous, every hydrogen will be replaced. So what will happen, everybody? CH3Cl plus one hydrogen plus remaining one chlorine. What will happen? Everybody, hydrogen chloride will come. Understand, Hari? Mitakshri?
Yes.
Hydrogen chloride will come. So what is the name of this one? Anybody can tell?
Chloromethane.
Yes. Anybody? Answer, please.
Chloromethane, sir.
Chloromethane. Very good, Rohit. Chloromethane. So anybody can tell me, or we can call it as a, anybody? It is a what group? No. What group it is? What is a group it is? It is an alkyl group, something. Anybody?
Methane.
Very good. And this is chloride. Chloride. So what will happen? Answer. Everybody.
Methyl chloride.
Methyl chloride. That is the common name. Please remember that. Everybody need to know it. Do it. All of you make it. Now, more even there is another name. Anybody? CH3Cl. Also call it as a something. This is the extremely important one, which we are using widely in anesthetic during surgical operations in hospitals? Anyone name it? During surgical operations in hospitals. That is
Anesthesia.
yes. Anesthetic drug. What is the name of it? That is what I wanted. Anybody? Even for animals, wild animals capturing also, they will use this drug, making them unconscious. Anybody?
Chloroform.
Yes. But that chloroform you observe, it is not one hydrogen is replaced. What is the chloroform formula? Everybody? Trichloromethane. It will come after that. Do you understanding all of you? So while your one hydrogen is replacing, then at the last, as I said, continuation, if hydrogen chlorine is keep on going to react, every hydrogen will replace with that. In that, we are going to get chloroform. So what will happen, everybody? So completely it will be converting CHCl3, which is known as, we'll write that equations. Please all of you write. So very, very important chemical formula. So if you are keep on making, now CH3Cl, we got it. So now again CH3Cl react with the chlorine under the presence of what? Everybody. Under the presence of sunlight, we will get CH2Cl2 plus HCl. Note it. So what is CH2Cl2 is to call it as a, everybody, dichloromethane. Note it. Now, dichloromethane react with the Cl2. Again we are going to get CHCl3 plus HCl. This is CHCl3 only. We used to call it as a what? Everybody. Respond. Trichloromethane, which is commonly known as, what is the commonly known as? All of you. Chloroform, which we are using in hospitals as a anesthetic during the operation. Note it. Extremely important equations. That's the reason I'm saying. Again, if you make it, what will happen? CHCl3, again it will reacting with the chlorine under the presence of, that is very important, under the presence of what? All of you. Sunlight, we are going to get CCl4 plus hydrogen. What is CCl4? Anybody? Yes, please. Tetrachloromethane. Tetrachloromethane, or we can say, common name, we are very familiar with this. Carbon tetrachloride. So this is how it will be happens. So please note it, everybody. So the tetrachloromethane or carbon tetrachloride will come. So if you react with the methane, ethane, propane, butane, pentane, hexane, all saturated hydrocarbons, you can notice it. So all these compounds will give substitution reaction with the chlorine. That is very, very important. Do you all understand, all of you? So the reaction in which one or more hydrogen atoms of hydrocarbons are replaced by some other atoms. What is that other atoms? Basically, we'll say halogens, like chlorine. That is what we used to call it as a substitution reaction. And you remember, substitution reactions are the characteristics property of a saturated hydrocarbon. Most important one, write it, are alkanes. So, unsaturated hydrocarbons do not give substitution reactions with the halogens. This point is also very important. They will give, write it everybody. So, they will give addition reactions, but substitution reactions with the halogens cannot be shown by unsaturated hydrocarbons. Have you noted down, Harish? Are you clear, everybody? So, only remember, substitution reactions will be given by whom, guys? Only saturated hydrocarbons. Unsaturated hydrocarbons do not give substitution reactions with halogens. They give addition reactions, which we are going to study next concept. That is what is the important point. And remember, substitution reactions even the process we used to call, this is only call it as a chlorination. Note it, all of you. The substitution reaction, which is like chlorine adding, the chlorination are a characteristic property of saturated hydrocarbons or alkanes. We used to call it as. So I hope you have written, everybody. So substitution reaction only shown by the whom? All of you? Alkanes or alkenes are? Alkanes alone. Okay. So write it, everybody. And unsaturated hydrocarbons shows addition reactions with halogens. Addition reaction with halogens. So they won't show what? All of you, substitution reaction. Please note it. Every word is very, very important. Mr. Omar, understand? Sanjay Ganan? Harini? Where is Johan? Call to Arun Kaila, somebody. Idiot fellow, always like this and nonsense. So this is what you have to remember, Amma. Very, very important. Not only methane, you can take butane, you can take ethane, you can take propane, you can take anything, butane, hexane, all the things they will react with the chlorine, and they will show under the presence of sunlight. They will show what reaction? Substitution reaction. Are you clear, everybody? So this is what is about the second chemical property, the properties of a chemical properties of a carbon compounds. So very, very important one. Next one, third kind of. Any doubt, guys? Anybody can ask me. Are you clear, all of you? Yes, please. Kaushik, you have a number I have given you. You should remember that and you have to join. Any doubt? Anybody can ask me. Are you okay, guys? Yes. So this is what is about the substitution reaction. The next type of reactions is addition reaction. So write it. This is the most important reaction. Every year, most of the years, they will ask you this reaction in the board exam. So addition reactions. Remember, we'll understand the first meaning of what is addition reaction. Then we will proceed with that. Remember, all of you, right? Addition reactions are a characteristic property of, see, substitution reaction means immediately mind should, substitution, if you see a word, call it as a substitution reaction. It is for whom? Saturated or unsaturated? Everybody. It is saturated hydrocarbons. Note it, all of you. Saturated hydrocarbons. If it is addition reaction, mind immediately how to say it is for unsaturated. Note it, no confusion at all. Unsaturated reaction. Okay, so very, very important point. Write it. Addition reactions. Addition, this much clearly none can stress. That is the reason you imagine how much I am segregating that so that you all can write it very perfectly in the exam. Confusion kadayadu. So addition of hydrogen, chlorine or bromine, whatever it is, but we will only go with the hydrogen in our class 10th. Bromine are a characteristic property of saturated or unsaturated? Everybody, all of you. Unsaturated hydrocarbons. Note it. Okay, so addition reaction means immediately, Mr. Vijay, addition reactions means immediately mind should say all double bond and double bond and everybody triple bond. Okay, so that is what is needed. So now addition reactions are given by everything. Double bond means what, everyone? Alkenes. And triple bond means what? Alkynes. That's all, everybody. Okay, so we'll describe what is this addition reactions. Remember, all of you. So if I add hydrogen to the unsaturated hydrocarbons, means which contains carbon-carbon double bond, then we will get saturated hydrocarbons. Very simple. Addition reactions means nothing is there. By adding the hydrogen or a chlorine or a bromine, simply I want to say, converting unsaturated, note it everybody, unsaturated by adding the hydrogen. Example, for class 10th only we have hydrogen. Converting into saturated. That's all, right? That is only we used to call it as a addition reaction. Unsaturated hydrocarbon by adding hydrogen under the presence of nickel as a catalyst. Very, very important. And heat also. So converting into saturated hydrocarbons. That's all. That is only call it as a, what reactions we used to call it? Addition reactions. Okay, all of you. Now, let me take the simplest unsaturated hydrocarbon. What is the simplest unsaturated hydrocarbon, everybody? Simplest unsaturated hydrocarbon, all of you?
Ethene.
Yes. Simplest unsaturated hydrocarbon. Here is all the options you take her. Hydrocarbon, if you have taken. So what is the name, Amma? All of you, tell me, girls. Ethene. What is the formula? C2H4. Structure formula, condensed formula solanga. Ellame condensed formula. CH2 double bond CH2. Am I right? So this is only we used to call it as a ethene. So it is a saturated or unsaturated? Everybody. Unsaturated. So if I pass the hydrogen gas under the presence of nickel as a catalyst and just we are heating, so it will be converting into CH3, CH3. CH3, CH3, call it as something. Anybody? C2H6. Yes, please. C2H6. What is to call?
Ethane.
That is only call it as a saturated hydrocarbon. Over. This is what we used to call it as a addition reaction. So addition reaction of ethane with what? Ethene with hydrogen. So this is the one of the example of addition reaction. So please remember that the addition of hydrogen to a unsaturated hydrocarbon to obtain saturated hydrocarbon is only actually addition reaction. And remember, whatever the unsaturated hydrocarbon, if you are converting into saturated hydrocarbon with the help of whom? Everybody. With the help of what? Please respond. With the help of hydrogen, that chemical reaction is called it as a hydrogenation. Please note it, everyone. Very, very important name. Hydrogenation. Or we can say the hydrogenation is the important process in industrial application. Most important one in industries. Industrial application which we are using in our daily life. That is what? How many of you are eating vanaspati ghee? If you go to Janapriya or if you go to any kind of thing, a solid ghee, which we used to call it as, for example, you can say like a dalda. So it is very strong and very hard. Vegetable ghee or a vanaspati ghee we used to say. For getting a tasty food, we will use this one. I think you might be heard. So that is the most important application. Note it. Addition of hydrogen to a unsaturated hydrocarbons and obtaining the saturated hydrocarbon, we used to call it as a hydrogenation. So we're having a greatest industrial application. So that is what we used to say. Process of hydrogenation is an important application. So that is what it is used to prepare vegetable ghee. So vegetable ghee, or we used to call it as a vanaspati ghee. So from where they will prepare, from vegetable oils. So from vegetable oils, they will prepare this vanaspati ghee, or we can say vegetable ghee. So here they will use the catalyst also. Note it, everybody. So hydrogenation process. What is the catalyst they will use? Everybody. Already have written. In the presence of, respond, nickel, or they will use even palladium also. So nickel or palladium is the catalyst for that. Note it, everybody. But class 10th, what is the catalyst we are using in these addition reactions? Everybody? Yes, please.
Nickel.
Nickel. So now, so hydrogenation of oils. So we don't know, sir, what is the reaction? So general reaction, you have to write it. So hydrogenation of oils, if you have been taken, so note it, everybody. So we don't know what is that elements present. So I am writing as a carbon-carbon double bond. You can take unsaturated fat, like a liquid state, we'll say, vegetable oil. Vegetable oil. Okay. So we'll take it as a unsaturated fat. So unsaturated fat it contains, which we used to call it as a liquid state basically. So now if you have noticed it, so it contains, that is what, it may contains anything. So that is why if it contains anything means we can represent with what? R bond. So which will react with the hydrogen under the presence of nickel as a catalyst. Nickel as a catalyst, that is what, under the heat. So it will be converting into saturated hydrocarbon. That is what we used to call it as a vegetable ghee. Please write it. Vegetable ghee, or we can say saturated fat, or we will say it is a solid state. That is what vanaspati ghee we used to say. So this is the most important reaction. Even their heat, they are saying correct, that particularly ethane. So what is the heat, 473 kelvins. That is the heat required. So the reaction in which unsaturated hydrocarbon combines with any substance to give a single product. That is what, very, very important. Single product, we have to get it. Single product, then that is called it as a addition reaction. So remember, during this addition reaction, double bonds and triple bonds will break, and whatever the most common addition reaction, hydrogen will basically generally takes place in the presence of catalyst. That is what, nickel, or we can say palladium. So that is only we can say hydrogenation reaction. So I hope you all understand. So triple bond also you can write it if you want. So ethane. So CH triple bond CH. Ethane, you can see, will react with the hydrogen under the presence of nickel with the same 473 Kelvin. It will get CH3. So that is only we used to call it as a what? Ethane. So we can obtain the ethane by passing the hydrogen gas over the ethene or ethane. We will get the ethane saturated. So this is only we used to call, what we used to call, everybody? Please respond. Even one hydrogenation we used to call. So every kind of vegetable oil, the paragraph I want to discuss, that's the reason I'm stressing. So definitely board exam, they will ask about this one. So this is what we used to call it as addition reaction. So addition reaction means by adding some kind of element, any element, just we are converting unsaturated into saturated. That is what we used to call it as a, what we used to call, all of you, addition reaction. So what is the best example of addition reaction, everybody?
Hydrogenation.
Hydrogenation of oils. So remember, addition reaction means hydrogenation. You have to write this only, because this R indicates, what is R indicates, everybody? That is some other element, some other bond will be there. So that is why we are representing that R with basically we will write it as a some other connection will be there. That is the indicating R. R already came. So R is indicating a bond with some other thing. That's why we are not specifying it. So basically we are having double bond or a triple bond under the presence of nickel as a catalyst. See, actually hydrogen we have to add here, plus heat will come. So it will be converting into saturated hydrocarbon. That is only call it as a addition reaction. And you remember they have mentioned clearly presence of catalyst. What is the catalyst? We can use it palladium or nickel. Do you understand it? So even board exam, there is a year you don't believe. They asked write the chemical reaction of converting saturated into unsaturated under the presence of palladium. So palladium means that is also what reaction? Everybody. Addition reaction only. Am I right or wrong? Do you all understand, everybody? So, but people will talk about only nickel. So people will study only about the nickel. But palladium is also same. PD, write it. Instead of nickel, I can put, that's why Ni or PD, write you both and change this into hydrogen here